Okay. Hello. Hopefully this works. I need a few more. I don't think I can fit these on a post-it. I guess we haven't been lucky with our schedule. I've been streaming, semi-regularly. But it is nice to see you, Agent XP. Hi everyone, hi guys. I hope you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. Oh, doing videos good. Oh yeah. This is the medieval / ruins palette. I'm thinking I might use it today to paint what I have in mind if I manage to get to the stage of painting. Hopefully I do, but I have to, thumbnail my idea, draw it, ink it, and then paint it. So gotta get rolling. And I just want to have these laid out so it's easier to reference the color that I have in that palette so that I can really see if they're a good fit for what I want to do. So that's that. That's my sketchbook for drafting my idea. Are you 5x5? Yes, it is the Lightwish calendar. So February. I've done January for the review that I'm working on, and I have that's what I was sketching during the members only live stream, and I've managed to draw it and ink it so that now I can continue with my review so that I can film the painting process. So today I want to doodle a thing for the February one. So I always start with some sort of thumbnails. I have printed some references that are taped to the wall in front of me right now. So it is a very sort of wide landscape format. So what do I want to do? I want to have a heron in my drawing, but I don't know if I want standing or flying. Mind you, standing is the most clear silhouette, and since it's going to be sort of further back, sort of like a giant heron, I might just want to have it as a silhouette, really. Or like really simplified in terms of shape. So let's see. Just gonna block it in first. Be like the block. Like how much space do I want this part of the drawing to take? And does it work with the rest of it, more or less? I had that calendar last year and I didn't do it this year. But the idea, the paper is super fun to paint on. Yep. But I found some drawbacks. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on when your review is up. Yeah, I have yet to paint on it, so I'm curious about the drawbacks that you found about this paper. This scale kind of works a bit better. It's gonna have the idea was to have the background be some sort of wetlands, but with a lot of trees and some fog. Paper is fine. It's the design of the calendar. Well, it's a typographic hotness. There are 5 or 6 fonts on the page, which sound excessive. Second, the layout of the text makes the painting area difficult to work with. Either you're painting a panoramic landscape. Struggling with. I see. I mean, makes sense. The abundance of a type on the calendar kind of makes me laugh because I did some graphic design, not professionally, but I studied in it, so I know what you mean. I personally, I really like really wide landscape, like panoramic formats, I have a really quick sort of base rule that I can share very quickly because it's really simple. But whatever format you have, let's say this is your really wide panoramic and you're like, I don't really know how to compose anything. There's sort of two sets of axes that you have to kind of keep in mind. First one would be to be mindful of the middles, because unless you're doing something that is very intentional, they never make for the best composition. It is not very dynamic. So if you are looking to make something that is really symmetrical and that is kind of very like very visual, very how can I say? It was often associated with more religious topics, or like you would have the king be centered, because that way you kind of give them the most important place in the painting. But as a sort of general rule, when you don't want to really do something with the intent of making it fully centered, it's best to avoid having anything on those lines. So your horizon, you don't want it to be on the middle. You want it below, over, anywhere, but not on the middle. Same with any element in your drawing. You want to avoid the middle. And a really quick way to organize anything, and I'm gonna try to do it a bit better, but it's to kind of split in thirds. I've mentioned this before, but you do like a quick thirds. It doesn't have to be particularly measured, but you just, split it in thirds. And that gives you areas of interest in your image. So you can put items on this line, you can organize like your figure to be here, your point of interest to be on the other point of intersection of those lines, and you have like, that usually makes for a more dynamic composition, and you can adapt it to any format because it's thirds. So you can have it for a square, you can have it for panoramic, you can have it for a really vertical like setup. And it's a really quick way to build up an image with some like focal lines and focal points already in there. Okay. So hold on. I had to grab my January drawing because I want to, see what I did for the masking area. At last I'm free from work. Hey, Lewis! Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. I'll try to say hi. So I see that Auntie Patience is here, Pumpkin, Agent XP. A watercolorist was here earlier. I don't know if they managed to stay around. That's a good tip. I have done a bit of photography, so that has helped, but never position. The typography is just offensive as a typography enthusiast. They're two quotes. I'm doing tired, but hey, free Saturday. I mean, you raise all sorts of good points. Blech. Whoops. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh, that just failed spectacularly. Hold on. I want. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry about that. The arm that holds the camera, the things that hold it in place, one of them decided to go limp all of a sudden, like. I'll have to look at the grabby one. I'm curious. I lied, I didn't mention the stand. The stand is super cute, but garbage at holding the paper in place. The grabby one again succeeds where the light. Oh, okay. I saw Lindsay do hers this week. I didn't know that Lindsay had started doing live streams again. Lindsay the Frugal Crafter. So I hung out there this week, and she was painting her February calendar, and I was like, oh, you know, that's a good idea. And from her painting, the paper looked like it behaved really well, so I'm excited to see but I have yet to paint on this one, so who knows. All right, let's set. All right, so next step is going to be to lay down some really basic guides so I can get a good reference for the horizon. My only complaint about that one is I wish it were a little bigger. Yeah, the only thing about this calendar I have no complaints about is the everyone typography is better. Calendar per se has smaller space. 5! Wow. And the last week trying to get my February in. How do you go about finding like the themes for your entries? One of my favorite fonts is Doni. One of them is homemade. I was so incensed about the Light Wish calendar design that I was convinced I could do a better layout with the same A5 paper. One good resource has been looking at birth flowers for each. Otherwise, I tried. That's cool. can't really fathom how we are 1 month already in this year. It has both felt like it went by super fast, but also really slow. So I'm not sure what to make of that. Water break. You topography nerds are really funny. Typography, I don't know. It's a difficult aspect of graphic design. I really struggle with it. I mean, I struggle with everything, but yeah. I'm not that nerd on that. I wear my typography nerdery proudly. Not working as designer actually, but it is. Oh, okay. I became an art supply hoarder. I was a font hoarder. Ooh. So were you ever like interested in the sort of mix of both, like doing calligraphy and that kind of stuff? Hey, Paulo! Part of my job was designing social media graphics for a boss who wanted everything centered and in Arial 12 point because someone convinced her that it was. Apple cake! Oh my gosh, you literally are taking cake. That's awesome. Hadn't been, but some of the artist illustrators I followed were really cool. Yeah, I think it's sort of a really good like mashup of both of these interests. Wants to go visit Paolo in an hour or so. Hey, Melissa, hello. I love to design. I was terrible at it. How do we do? Aw. Oh, I'm with you there. Seriously, the bloody creative cloud. You have a whole thought on why you shouldn't use RL 10 points. Default Google Doc fonts. Yeah, my BFA is great. Be when they started. Ugh. Wait, are you for real? Affinity is not part of Canva. No way. Shoot. I just want the ability to buy a license and not have to buy like a lifetime of subscription. I'm gonna check. It is now, yes. No! Of November. Ah! I was just going to say the same thing. I didn't know Affinity. Ugh. Affinity was subscription. Is it? No, it is. It is one time purchase, right? Yet, what is it with the companies and the? I mean, there's gotta be something because they're all going for it, but I don't see it either. And you know, the most egregious part of it is whenever they have this they're trying to sell it to you, going, oh, yeah, AI is gonna be awesome. It's gonna help our designers get ideas. And I'm like, no. That's why they're designers, because they already are good with coming up with ideas. That's the whole point. Like, they say the same about concept artists. Like, oh, it's gonna give our concept artist ideas. Like, no, 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 no. You got it the wrong way around. They're concept artists because they're already good at having ideas. That the frick. Brain explodes. One of the ways I actually used all the fonts I hoarded is to periodically redesign my monogram avatar. 2-3 times a year, and I use a designer for that. Oh. And this free. Oh, really? Yeah, same. I bought it too, so. Oh, I'm so bothered. I'm bothered. I'm annoyed by my pencil right now. I can't get a good sharp angle to my lid. Mixing it up. I don't know. They say it's free now, but you have to log into Canvas every time you load it. Ah. It's Affinity V3. Oh, I still have V1. Oh. The forever and shitification of everything. Ugh. Just drives me bonkers. Because now you have all these rich idiots that are like, well, if we want AI to be sustainable, people are gonna have to consume more of it. It's like, dude, maybe you're getting to the wrong conclusion here. Have you ever thought about that? So much money is getting wasted on this, and the pollution and the nightmarish. I hate it so much. Yeah, Affinity V2 sounds really nice, and V1 is perfectly fine too. It's just this, like when a while ago when I was editing my videos, I used to use hit films back then, and it worked really well. It was well made, it was easy to use, and the sort of base program was free. And what you could do is buy features depending on what you needed, and it was very, a very fair price for the features. Like, say you want to have access to more ways to. I'm looking for a word. Adjust your footage, like levels, white balance, that kind of stuff. Well, you had to pay, like, I don't remember how much. I said $20 to get a bundle of features, including these. And then if you wanted to have a different set of features that you needed, you could pay extra. And when you had paid for these bundles, they were yours. You didn't have to pay more to, like every month or whatnot. It was not a subscription. But then HitFilm got bought by another company, and they completely overhauled it into a subscription-based model, and it sucked. And I don't want to pay a subscription model for a company that is going to use that to pursue AI. If I can avoid it, of course. Like pure generative AI tools that are just terrible. Come on, man. Hurts my soul. on learning print design and want to get better at that. Been playing with Publisher for a bit. I spend the most time. I miss InDesign more than Illustrator. I mean, have you tried Publisher? Is that it? Yeah. Antipatience. Have you tried Affinity Publisher? It's really not that bad. I've been doing like a very base level of man, my words are not there today. Anyway, like I've done a few very quick documents to either print myself or to, you know, for our, the comic that we did, and it's quite nice. I kind of miss Photoshop because I was to that point where I was so familiar with it that I didn't really have to think about how to do the stuff in it. Like I knew where every feature that I used was and how to, you know, get specific things done and whatnot. And yeah, sure, most of these you can sort of do in Affinity, but it's... Man, this is a terrible heron. I tried, but... I'll see. Hey, Senal, hi! Photoshop is no one's idea of a good to be. Yeah. I want Coral Draw back in my... I never got into Coral Draw. I was a Photoshop adopter from the very start. Even when it was still... Like, they were sort of resisting the fact that a lot of people used Photoshop for drawing. And they kept implementing more photo features in it and not... like, the not necessarily the stuff that the illustrators were, like, asking for. such as a rotatable workspace. That took forever before we got a rotatable workspace. And when it was finally here, it was kind of clunky in the beginning. And meanwhile, you had other software like Paint Tool Sci that had found a way to make it a feature effortlessly. Like, yeah, okay, it's not exactly the same, but you could at least really quickly do it. And it also had sort of a flip feature that was very easy to use. All that packed in a software that didn't like nuke your resources. Attends! I'm not making it per se. It's the Lightwish watercolor calendar. They sell this pack of sheets, one for each month. And it's cotton paper, and you have room to like customize your own calendar, basically. And I did the January one this week, and I'm going to feature this one in a review. And I thought that after watching Lindsay the Frugal Crafter this week do her February calendar page, I was like, oh, you know what? You know what? That's a really good idea. And then I'm thinking of using this medieval / ruins palette for this because it kind of matches the mood I have in mind for this drawing. Oh, there's pink on my... Still have Jask. Oh, wow. Nice that it still works. You know? Hey, 23, hello. So do you guys have any plans for the coming month of February? Well, I mean, worst case scenario is going to be a bit derpy. I'll live with that. Live and learn. Sorry for the wobbliness. Very hard to do this step without wobbles. I'm thinking about how I'm gonna ink this. Initially I wanted to do just my regular waterproof pen, but I think there's gonna be quite a few atmospheric effects in this one, so I'm trying to remember where I put my inking brushes. A $1 billion question. Somewhere. Yay. Got this. Got some inks. Noise. Right, what's in here? These are gonna be handy. That's like the swatch card of the inks I found. I did not even remember putting this stuff in here. That's good. That's great. Good job. So found inks, but no inking brushes. Thinking. Staying out of jail. Oh my gosh, what have you done, anti-patients? Survive? Oh no. Going on a long trip for the whole month to visit my mother, help her handle. Ooh. Ooh, that sounds like it's gonna be quite, like it has a potential to be quite enjoyable. Driving, yeah. Actually try to find a new job and make more time to create. That's good though. That's nice. Hopefully it pans out. Fountain pen inks with the water brush to create gorgeous. Ooh. So I'm probably gonna use the black ink. So, and black is this one here. No, just stay there. Almost squished my fingers, which is not great. Oh yeah, my fingers are fine. They're better. Like the new creams and thingamajigs I've found to help with the skin have been amazing. This is genius. Just an amazing artist. Like so good it can even be in that. Hey, huh. So yeah, this like I had a moment recently where I was like, you know what would be really handy? Kind of a big lipstick for dry skin, because that way I could like put some on the back of my hands and then, do this, and I wouldn't have to put my fingers in the cream itself to, put it out. So I could keep on drawing and painting and just have to be mindful of not necessarily putting the greasy part of my hand in it. And I recently found this, and it's exactly what I was looking for. And so far, it works really well. So, love this. It's literally a huge lipstick. So, love that. All right, so inking. Am I a bit nervous? Maybe. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna do this. Ah, shoot. It's been a while since I've inked with a brush. This brush has seen better days. I hate when the freaking ink container has that bubble on top. Okay, poked it. Hopefully it doesn't feather too much. I've had issues with feathering lately. I inked a whole freaking drawing. I mean, I started and I saw that the ink was feathering and I was like, oh shoot. And I decided to just, you know what? I'm not gonna be stupid. Take two. I'm gonna ink the fully ink part with my good old pen. Because I know it's fine on this paper. And if anything that I end up painting in gray kind of feathers a bit, that's not gonna be much of an issue. I have that same issue with the back ink brush. Oh no, it's just a tiny synthetic like brush. It's just the one that I use specifically for ink. I have dedicated brushes. I have brushes for glittery paints and for inking. The issue with the inks is that I will use only like waterproof inks because anything else wouldn't be very useful to me. But those tend to be a bit more rough on brushes, and I don't want to use like my quote unquote great brushes for that. So it's a. I mean, this one is a really inexpensive Robert Simmons pointed round aqua tip, like basically a really inexpensive synthetic bristles small size brush. It's basically all there is to it. LA Sean, hello, and thanks. It's meant to be a giant heron. I don't know how you say it, but the bird. It's gonna be way too dark. I'm drawing a lot of herons and cranes as well. Very fun. I agree. They have such a weird silhouette. Like you can spot them from afar. Like if they're on the water and all you see is the silhouette, you can recognize right away that it's either a crane or a heron. Hard to see what it's going to be like because before I erase the sketch lines, as best as I can. Like, I have no idea what this is gonna look like. Cake in the oven and the kitchen is clean. Ooh! What's the latest Julie in the hair? He's it's a good movie. It's very on par with like his style, really. Hey, hello! I was about to say egrets too, but then I googled it and it turns out an egret is a type of heron. Is this supposed to be a scene in Asia? Nope. It's a scene in made-up land. Uh-oh, I'm out of tea. Uh-oh. I feel like with Studio Ghibli movies, the one that are done by Miyazaki, my favorite sort of part of his movies is to kind of go in the background and learn about what inspired him for this specific story, like what events in his life. And I find that really interesting because then you can sort of look at the movie and try to figure out how these themes were included. And how he chose to represent the topics in the movie. Quick taste the first Concorde to Britain. Eee. Good luck. Good luck with that. You'd have to find one first. I found Howl's Moving Castle quite disappointing and sort of lost interest in keeping up. Plus, I love some of the earlier ones so much that they are hard to beat. Was the most recent one. The Boy and the Heron is the most recent one. Enjoy the Howl's Moving a little bit first. Moving Castle. Okay. Very favorite Ghibli movie. This may be controversial. Of the Heart. That one is quite good. I think we watched it. There's only one I didn't like, and it was a Ghibli movie, not a. I don't think it was a Miyazaki one. One of my favorites is Only Yesterday. I was looking for the title in my head. Taste is never controversial in my opinion, unless it's pineapple on pizza. Don't get us started, Paulo. It would help. Kiwis. Bananas. Oh my gosh. Caramels. Blech. Right. Inking done. Just gotta wait for it to dry. Shouldn't be very long. Probably not all movies are made. Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, Grave of the Fireflies. Takahata, that's the director, right? I think. He blew it out of the water with every single movie he made, I think. Whether it's Pompoko or Grave of the Fireflies. I think that's him that did Pompoko. I don't remember. Sorry if this is stupid, but what is that blue brush and looking thing you are using? This is just a regular brush. I mean, I use this one, but it's basically the same thing. It's just a small brush with a big handle. But I never want to. Yeah, that's the main thing with that movie, is that you watch it once and it sits with you forever, and it's very difficult to watch it again because you don't have the benefit of not knowing what to expect, you know. Just cleaning up my eraser a little bit before I mess with it. I don't really need this anymore. Ink dries relatively fast, so sorry, I'm gonna have to erase, so it's gonna wobble a bit. I apologize. I'll say it when I'm done erasing. So if you want to look away, well, everything wobbles. Ah, my workspace, it's annoying me. I have too much stuff. All of you go away. Choo. Okay. Sorry. Wobble, wobble, wobble. Wobble, wobble, wobble. Very wobble. Wobble, wobble, wobble. Still wobbling. Earthquake! Okay. I'm almost done with the wobbles. Okay, I think I'm done. All right. Best part. Painting time. Let's get some brushes. More brushes. Haha. Acquired for that. I've lived. Oh, black tea with cardamom. That sounds amazing. Difficult to watch is Don Bluth. Well, unless you want to ride the emotional roller coaster. I guess it depends on the movie, but yeah, he's really good at, you know, that a good story structure that will have you like go through the range of emotion you expect to go through while watching a movie. I don't think I've heard of him. Perhaps not Don Bluth, but I'm pretty sure you've heard of his movies. He did. Um, he was sort of the only. He was sort of the main um, competition to Disney in terms of American animated movies. He did The Secret of Nim. He did Anastasia. He did Titan AE. He did others as well. I just don't have the titles in my head right now, but yeah. Gonna need big. So I'm using some of the Roman Schmoll Davies Gray and Misty Morning to make a really light sort of base color. And I'm looking at the references that I have in front of me. I don't really want to have the paper be white, but if this is to be a sort of foggy kind of scene, I can't go like with a really intense color. Like it's foggy and things disappear in the fog the further away you go, so I have to look at my painting from various angles because of the glare. That makes it hard to see what the color I'm putting down looks like. It's just the faintest hint of Davies gray at the top, so that hopefully when I remove the tape, it doesn't fade into the white of the paper too much. Dries really fast. Winter, am I right? Okay. I'll go with that. Now dry. Or you can tell all dogs. Ooh, all dogs go to heaven is a tough one. Oh yeah, Land Before Time. All of his movies have some element of grief. Is tiny and big. Hi Leslie, welcome. Look, watercolor paper with good size. The aesthetic of Sleeping Beauty. That's what Mary Blair and Ivan Earl, I think. I mean, Ivan Earl, I'm sure, 100%. Mary Blair, I don't remember if she was on Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, the background artist. I mean, I don't know if it was the background artist, but it was definitely one of them, and the main like style inspiration, Ivan Earl. Yep. I saw storyboard art. Oh yeah, that's really cool. Well, the color is disappearing. Gonna have to wait and then perhaps do it a bit stronger. Might do something with the thing is like I'm looking at the printed references that I have. And a lot of the images that I printed have this really interesting feature where the water surface is white, except in areas where there's a reflection. And when there's an area where you have a reflection, what you see is all the green and the algae and the greenery that's in the water. It's a really cool effect. And I want to try to do something similar, but I'm not entirely sure how to go about it. That's what I'm working on in my head right now. I don't have that silent little heat tool that Lindsay has to dry out the paper. Dry! Is it bad that I've never seen a Studio Ghibli movie? What would anyone recommend to watch? Ooh, yeah, as a first experience, I think My Neighbor Totoro or Kiki's Delivery Service are good options. If you want something a bit more serious, I think that Princess Mononoke is also quite nice. No, I don't want to use a hairdryer because of the noise. I have cats. They're sleeping. I don't want to give them a heart attack. I have a blow dryer that I got for painting because it can blow cold air, but it is so noisy I cannot use it. The cats get the fright of their lives. I use up one of my cat's lives every time I use it, so I don't use it. Ooh, cake. Favorite other early one is Nausicaa of the Valley of the. It is also quite serious, yeah. Yeah. And if you want to watch Ghibli movies, but not necessarily uh, all the ones by Miyazaki, you have a lot of options too. There's really all kinds. Yeah, some are really silly, like Pompoko, but at the same time, it has a message still. And oh my gosh, one of my favorites, The Cat Returns. Dude. I'd recommend either Spirited Away. Oh yeah, Spirited Away is good too. Don't start with Grave of the Fireflies. It is amazing, but it is the saddest movie ever. It is unbelievably sad. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I managed to forget, but I think my favorite Ghibli movie of all things included is definitely The Cat Returns. Because of course it is. It is such a light, fun movie, and it's full of cats. What else? What else can you ask for? Cat Returns is tangentially related to a very tangential, like incredibly so. They basically just reuse one of the characters, but that's it. Princess actually isn't a magical microphone that somehow only plays a voice. Her little heat tool, really. Oh, if you like crying, yeah, but I mean, it doesn't begin to describe the sad side of that movie. So if unless you want to cry a lot, a lot, and be really sad after. Watch Porco Rosso and potato. Oh, my brain is not working. How? Yeah, that's the word. Poco is from the studio, not from. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Depends on what the person wants to watch. If they want to watch like Ghibli studio movies in general, or particularly Miyazaki movies. Wow, this is boring. I'm sorry. My issue with doing any kind of painting. I can talk a bit about my plan for the image, like I said. So in the background, because of the general fog of the area, you have some sort of silhouette of forest or whatever. It's a bit darker at the bottom, but it's still quite light. And then the top is like white sky, like, you know, the cloudy white sky. And then you have those trees that are mostly barren that rise up in the image, but the further away they are, the more light they are. They're just a sort of a vague silhouette on the slightly darker background. And the closer you get to the forefront of the image, the closer they look like actual tree trunks. So they will have a bit more detail. And then the heron sort of creature, I want to keep vague somewhat. And it's going to be perhaps the most difficult part to do like the way I want it. And then there's also all the reflections, as I was saying. So the water is going to be mostly white as well, especially in this area, because you don't have a lot of things like directly reflecting here. But over here, it's going to progressively get more and more shadows on the water. And through the shadows, instead of just being a like just a darker color, I'm going to try to show that the water here is full of plants. And we're going to see the plants through the shadow. Like when I was trying to figure out what to do for February, I went to Wikipedia and I looked up the month of February. And I looked at the list of everything that happens in February. And I tried to find like specific days, holidays, events that I thought would be good to give me ideas. And I found quite a few. One of them was, I think there's a wetland day somewhere in there. And I was like, oh, wetlands, that's cool. And then I was looking at all sorts of cultural stuff, and I ended up with this sort of idea. And then when I was eating lunch, I thought that it might be interesting to have like the heron in there, because they have such a fun silhouette. But I was like, just a regular heron is kind of meh. So I was like, what about the giant heron? And the idea of the heron was also sparked by reading something that mentioned a bird. And, you know, like it's just a hodgepodge of whatever ideas. And then you let a couple of these run for a while before deciding what to do with them. I always thought she had a magical silent. Oh, I'm bummed out. I really thought it was silent, because whenever she uses it, you hear nothing. I was like, so it's just like shooting hot whatever magically, but I guess it's not. Oh. If there was a way that I could like close the door and use the blow dryer, fine, but Scout is sleeping like just behind me. And it did like it's gonna give them such a start if I start the freaking hairdryer. Not that they like it anyway to begin with, so. Speaking of Pompoko, has anyone seen any make sense? I haven't. The noise gate turns off the mic. Yeah, that's fine, but my issue is not necessarily the mic, the microphone picking it up. It's the cats. But yeah, that's how she manages to have it look really quiet. Oh. I like the storytelling of the picture. So I was looking up So yeah, so there's part of the image was inspired by wetlands day or something or whatever. I was like, oh, wetlands. That's not something that I've, painted a lot. I'll look at some references, see if there's anything that I feel like I want to paint in there. And I found a couple of references that I thought were nice. Then I kept looking, and there's a pagan holiday in February that's called Imbolc. I have no idea how you say it. It's like Imbolc, or maybe G. G? Yeah, G. And I was like, oh, what's that? So I read a bit on it, and I was like, oh, it's it got a bit too like Christianized to my liking. But I was reading up on it. I was like, okay, and then it led me to read about a particular character in Celtic mythology, and it's basically like a what did they call it? Like her name is something like the winter hag or the old hag or something. And there's part of her lore that goes a bit like the Groundhog Day marmot, in the sense that there's a specific day that if it's nice and sunny, the hag will be out gathering more wood, and that means that the winter is going to continue because she was able to stock up on wood. And if it's a cloudy and not a very nice day, she's going to stay in bed. So that would mean that winter is about to end. And I was like, oh, that's fun. So that's where I got the idea of like gathering wood. And I was like, oh, it matched. You probably can find some sort of wood in this area, maybe, hopefully. So I was like, okay, we have a thing going. And I kept reading on this hag character, and sometimes she's portrayed as a big bird carrying sticks in its beak. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was trying to find a way to perhaps incorporate that as well. And then I read that this hag character is part of the lore and the folklore of the Isle of Man. Isle of Man? I don't know. And I was like, oh, that's where you have the Manx cats as well. So it ends up not showing because the cat has the skirt, but it's technically a Manx cat, so it doesn't have a tail. So that's how I sort of aggregated everything together and came up with this. That makes you, yeah. Gun that is not that loud. Yeah, I mean, she figured out a really clever way to remove the noise, and it really looks like it's magical. Because you see her like blast or painting, and you hear nothing. I was like, what is this? And I think she described it in the last stream, like it was a quieter way of drawing out a painting. So I figured that like quieter meant like absolutely quiet, but I guess not. I do have a big heat gun, but I think it is quite noisy as well. Anything that has a fan that like blows air out tends to be quite noisy. And also, I've noticed like the couple of times that I've managed to use the blow dryer to dry out a painting, it doesn't dry very well, I feel. If your paper like buckled, when you blow dry it, it kind of keeps the buckle. It doesn't dry back out completely flat. And that's not fun. That's not great. And also it kind of does something weird to the paint sometimes, because the way it speeds up the drying process, I guess it changes the variables of what happens on the paper and how the paper dries. So I'm not a big fan of it. But on top of that, the noise makes it really difficult to use. Yeah, I remember back in the days, a very long time ago, when Lindsay would do the live streams, she had the the elongated sort of craft heat guns for embossing, and she would like blast her painting with that. Now she has one that basically looks like a travel hairdryer. And I had one very, very similar at some point, but it just stopped working. I was barely using it. It's not like I wore it out, but at some point it just went, nope. I don't remember the difference of noise between a blow dryer and the craft gun. The heat tool that I have is a like from the hardware store, so it's quite noisy. I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm gonna try and finish painting this. I mean, I have to wait for the paper to dry anyway. If I rush it, it's gonna look like butt. And as much as I would like to continue painting, what's the point of painting something if it doesn't look like you want because you were too impatient with it? So I'm gonna wait. It was interesting to see that the diluted ink I used worked perfectly well and dried out fine and is completely waterproof, so that's good to know. The ink is from Octopus Fluids. They do fountain pen ink that is waterproof, and they have a wide range of color. I have quite a few samples here because I got samples to try these out. And so this is the one I use, Black Elephant. They're black ink. They're all named with a color and an animal. So this is brown seahorse, brown penguin. I have red turtle, blue chameleon. This is unrelated. Sorry, gray meerkat, gray kangaroo, and green squirrel. And on these, I did a water test, and they don't smudge, they don't reactivate or anything. They're quite affordable too. They're about $20 a bottle, so. I have a himmy palette. Holding constant. Let it dry. Let it dry. If you want to prevent it from getting mold in it, you have to let it dry. And reactivate it when you need it. Other paint for now. I mean, I'm gonna end the stream. This is usually my cutoff time. So I will end this here, stretch, drink. Hope I don't get a tension headache. I forgot to stretch during the stream. I was too focused. So I will say thank you so much, guys, for being here today. I guess that for the perhaps coming months of the calendar, I might try to have the drawing ready, but there's still the issue of having to wait for paint to dry. Like there's no way around it, really. That's watercolor for you. I'll try to think of something because that's my main the main issue I have with streaming or filming the painting process. It's half painting and half waiting for paint to dry. In it and then let it. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today, guys. I really appreciate it. It was really fun. And I had a great time. I hope you had a great time too. And we will see each other on the Discord server and during the week and in next week's live stream. Until then, have a great weekend. Don't forget to take cake. And I hope it's a good one. Bye bye.